right. For real this time. What is up, everybody? Welcome to. Hold on. I always gotta fix the. Gotta fix Instagram. Instagram is always the last one to the party. There we go. All right, cool. All right, we are we are here. I think mostly. Now we're here. All right, cool. All right, what's up, everybody? It is Justin Reeves. I am here tonight. Go ahead and share this wherever you are. I've actually got a giveaway that I want to do tonight. It's actually a cash prize, but I'm only going to do it if there are at least 5 people on the live. So share this so that you can be eligible. If you're smart, you would tell only a couple people to join so that they can, you have better chances. But if not, I may just talk to myself because essentially that's what this is. So would love for you to join tonight. I gave you all no notice whatsoever. I put it up on like a Facebook post today, but there wasn't too much in it. So I was actually in a place where I was like, maybe I won't do it. I kind of didn't really tell anybody. I don't really know. I don't really know. Whatever. But hey, it is what it is. So, if you are watching or want to tune in, whatever the case is, I would love to join you. If you watch the replay again, thanks for watching. I appreciate it. We're gonna get right into it. So, I just want to come in. Like I said, I want to do like a random live once a month, um, just to one get reps up for practice, but two just kind of share like outside of the podcast, if you will, but like podcast material, but like a little bit more interactive because hopefully somebody will join. So maybe we'll get an actual cadence going with this. That probably makes more sense to tell people. Um, my marketing brain is like, why would you do this? You would never let your clients do this. But there's also something about like when you do your own stuff, you need to treat yourself as if you were a client of how you would treat other people and what you would demand of other people. And I do not do that. I am not there yet. And I am not really ashamed to say that. So I am working on that. But anyway, like I said, we're here tonight. Like I said, I'm doing an event this Saturday. So if you have not heard about it, it is The Create as Well. What is The Create as Well, right? That's something that oftentimes I'm asked. The Create as Well is a podcast, is a platform, sorry. The Create as Well is a platform for Christian creatives and entrepreneurs, purpose seekers, and visionaries that would like to be refreshed, renewed, revitalized for their God given purposes because we all know that the journeys that God puts us on and that we are in this life are challenging. And hey, you need people around you, you need people to support you. You need people to pour back into you. And how we do it is through the podcast now and in-person events. And so the podcast comes out every Tuesday at 9:30 a.m. So we got an episode dropping tomorrow with me and Jasmine Sims, actually, which is pretty exciting because she's going to actually be at the event on Saturday. So you'll get to hear from her uh, at the event. You get to hear from her twice in 1 week, essentially. So yeah, I'm doing it this Saturday, February 1st, in Woodbridge, Virginia. So if you are free, come out. If you're not free, come out. I just want to see you there, and I will go ahead and put this up so that you can find it. But yeah, the Create as Well, the Valley Experience, coming up this Saturday, February 1st at 7 p.m. So you can get tickets if you're watching this on my social media because that's where you'll be watching it. All the information is up there. So I want to see you there. I want to see you there. We're planning a really good show. I think it will be something that plenty of people can enjoy, right? So like people always ask me like who should come? Is it just for young adults? Is it for older adults? Is it for teenagers? Like is it age appropriate? Is it whatever? It's really appropriate for all ages and stages of life, to be completely honest, because the fact of the matter is whether you call yourself a creative or not, whether you have a business, whether you are an entrepreneur, you're going to encounter some sort of valley situation because that's just how life is set up. And so this is an opportunity for you to get some, hopefully some practical feedback, some tactics, some whatever about whatever valley that you may or may not encounter at some time. So just yeah, come on out. Um, Tickets are in my bio, all over my social media information. So yeah, so tune on in. But tonight, I wanted to drop a little message about hope. Kind of be practical with it. Hope is a creative because I think people often miss the behind the scenes of what happens for events, right? So like you go to the event, you see just the people on the stage, you see like all the grandeur, if you will, but like you don't necessarily know what leads up to it. So I want to talk a little bit about like what happens the week of an event for me at least, and it's a little different depending if it's my event or if it's somebody else's event. Because my events, I procrastinate a bit more because I don't, and this is something a lot of people do. I don't put the same effort for me that I do for clients, probably because there's a different level of responsibility. But it's like a false level of responsibility because you really should be really devoted to yourself and the things that you're doing because like you're you and there's no replacing you, right? Like someone could hire another person, but I can never hire another me for me, if that makes sense. So but yeah, so week of event, I will always send out a run of show. So I start a show document months in advance generally. It starts in my notes app and then it goes transitions eventually to Google. And Google is when I know it's real. If it's on a Google sheet, when I actually have it lined up and timed out. And I have a document there that basically it's a template, and I'm actually going to put it up on my site for people to use. But like you can put in like I want this to last 10 minutes, so it'll give you the exact times without you having to do the math for it. Not trying to attack anybody's math skills or time skills, but it's just always easier for a machine to help you out. So yeah, so I do that. I make sure the runner show is there. I make sure I'm communicating with everybody a lot. One of the things that has happened at every single event, except for maybe the first one. I don't remember anything happening in the first one. Somebody has always backed out, like for some reason. Um, in COVID, I had a Carols for a Cause in COVID. One of the two of the performers, they were of the same family. They had a death in the family, so they had to go. Right, so it's not always like a bad like they ditched me reason. Sometimes it's just life, right? But I reconfirmed with everybody the week of, like, hey, you still good? Am I going to see you this Saturday? Because the fact of the matter is, doing productions with people, it is challenging because you don't run people's lives, right? Like they sacrifice their time, they're paid for their stuff, whatever the case is. But things happen, right? One of the singers for Holy Hoodlum, like she'll be there on Saturday, Kristen. She was unable to come to the one in 2023 because her dad was in the hospital. Like she had to go, and that's totally fine. Um, so like, there's always stuff that happens, but I've also had people just ditch. Like I've had people just say that they've had other appointments or other things that they decide to do. Right, so it's better to over communicate during the week so that if any of that stuff comes up, you kind of start to feel it and start to see it, and then you can pivot, right? Because the thing about it is, you never want to quit. You never want to get to the point where like one person, I hate the phrase, like one monkey doesn't stop a show. Unless it's you, I guess that might make you stop the event. But like you really want to get to a point where you're not really stopping the show. So right. So another thing with that is plan for redundancy. Don't ever have single points of failure. That's something I've learned, and I try to apply as best as possible. I know for me personally, I have a general knowledge of everything and every task that's necessary to execute the event, right? If the person, and I don't think this would ever happen, but if 50 is somehow unable to come to the event, then hey, I know I can order food, right? As a hospitality. I may not sit there and cook it like she cooks it, but I know I can get on Uber Eats and order some food here, right? When it comes down to music, like I know I can't play an instrument, right? But if Mario, Clay, Ethan all just decided to form a union and quit, like I couldn't play music, but I have the files, or I can switch a playlist, or we could sing it a cappella, or like if there's someone missing, we can fill in parts. Like I think you should always have a mindset to cover down on other people, right? If someone's unavailable, then it's like, okay, well, how do we fix this person? Some things are really, really hard, right? But when it comes down to it, like life just happens. So I do my run a show, I communicate with people, and I actually look at the content that I have to do. When it comes down to me, I generally don't prepare my stuff until the week of. Like in my mind, it's like, okay, especially since I'm actually speaking more and talking more, and it's more of like me as the person, it's like a, oh, I should probably prepare something, right? And the thing about it is, when I got the idea for this show, I think it was October, September or so. So I've been thinking about this for months. I've been writing stuff down in my notes app for months. Is it coherent at this point on 8:10 in the evening on Monday, January 27th? No, it's not. It is. It is not. It will be coherent because it's all up here. It's not like it will be here, but it's not here. So, taking time to make sure that you prepare yourself, because I think as the event producer, as the event host, a lot of times you will have you go one of two ways. You either focus so much on you that you forget about the logistics and things, but because my mindset is so logistically heavy, and so like I want to make sure that this gets done and this gets done, I tend to focus on other people other than me. So at some point during this week, I had to switch my logistics brain off and go to more of my creative brain, just to make sure that the vision is gonna like happen, right? Because ultimately the vision was given to me. It's not that I have to be doing it all myself. That's never gonna happen. You're probably never gonna see a one man show. That just sounds terrible from me. I've seen it from other people. They're great. Me, I'm not that cool. I'm not that interesting. But we need some buffers. But yeah, so that's that. And then in terms of that, I also do a different marketing sprint. So when you are a small time creative, like myself, and when I say small time, I'm not saying it to be derogatory, right? I'm not saying it to diminish my value or anybody else's value. But if you don't have a huge following, if you don't have an audience that like runs to your events, then a lot of times your sales happen in the last week, right? So let's just call a spade a spade. Most people want to go to what's popping, right? And so right now, my events are popping, but people don't know about it. Like there's not enough people that come where the information spreads to new people constantly, right? I hope that's making sense. Like when it comes down to it, like they're just yeah, it's a weird thing. And there's no shade to that because it's part of the process, right? It's all part of the process, and I'm cool with that. But when it comes down to, oh, sorry, hit the wrong button. I was like, oh, but yeah, when it comes down to it, like you have to do a whole lot of marketing in your last week because the majority of the sales are all bought the last week. When I tell you event, people every like all my sales happen that Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. It's just what happens. So like I have no idea who's coming. We have people who bought tickets for sure. Like those of you, if you're coming, like you're not going to be by yourself. There are other people that have bought tickets, and of course there are going to be just other people that are there. But like from a standpoint of like what the audience makeup will actually look like, I don't know. I won't know, and you don't really get to the point of knowing that until you get to the point where like people are really clamoring to be there. So that's not me right now. What does that also mean? I don't know how many I'm necessarily preparing for. So I'm giving out care packages, if you will, because like we're talking about the valley, which is like a journey. So I give you a survival kit in a way. It's just some of the things that go through my mind. But when I prepare those kits, am I buying for 5 people? Am I buying for 20? Am I buying for 30? Am I buying for 50? Like you just don't know. So what I do is I try to buy everything off of Amazon because Amazon's return policy is amazing. So anything that's not used, I'm not going to have that sitting in my office just rotting away because the thing is I kind of switch the theme up every time. So it's not like I have stuff that will be transferable, right? We're probably not going to do the Valley again, or hopefully not, because it's kind of sad. But we're not going to do the Valley again, so it's like I don't want a whole bunch of Valley stuff. So like, I get stuff that I can return. I also get stuff, and the other thing with that is that you could buy stuff that is transferable. So like maybe just create as well stuff in general, because I will do more create as well stuff. So like if I buy pins or something like that, then make sure it just says create as well, and you don't mark it with the date, you don't mark it with the year, you don't do stuff like that, so that whenever you do it, it will be applicable and you can use it. So That's something that I would always recommend as well. For those of you who are here, just a reminder. Uh, Actually, I didn't say it yet. Pick a number 1 through 100. Put the number in the chat, what your number is, and then put your Cash App. The number is already here. I'm not going to change my mind. But if you put the number between one and 100 that you pick, put it there and put your Cash App, I will send the winner $25. So I see there's enough people on both sides. So yeah, so go ahead and do that so you can get your chance to win some money. Um, but yeah, so that's all the practical stuff that I do, and I'll put out a document about it and stuff like that, because I think that stuff is really important when people are actually doing events, right? Like every a lot, and I won't say everybody, a lot of people want to do events. A lot of people want to do whatever you call it. Like they want to do stuff, but people a lot of times people don't tell them how to do it, right? And it's not so much that it's complicated to do it, it's complicated to get it done, if that makes sense. And so I just want to take away some of the barriers of that. And I know that the week of an event is generally very hectic for people, so I just want to make it less hectic. So that's what I do for the week of, but I also prepare myself mentally and emotionally. So here's where the hope comes in. So the fact of the matter is, I am a small time creative. So I'm not just putting out stuff and people sell it out in 5 minutes, right? And the reason I say things like that is like that's everyone's dream or most people's dream, right? You want to be able to sell out a room, right? That's your goal. If you have an event, you want the capacity to be there. You want people to be there. Like you don't put on an event for the least amount of people to be there. Like that doesn't make financial sense, and it doesn't make sense from a creative perspective because you want people to see what you've like worked hard to do, right? So for me, the numbers thing, it's challenging, right? Because again, I don't know how many people are going to be there. So like in my mind, I plan a lot of games or like activities based upon people, but it's like, are we having a whole bunch of people gonna be here? What's up, Corey? Are we gonna have a whole bunch of people gonna be here, or is it gonna be a small room? Is it an intimate gathering this time? Like, can we play a big game of Taboo, or do we need to do like other types of games, right? So again, you have to prepare your mind mentally as an event producer to be flexible. So like I said, there may be 10 people, there may be 50, there may be 100, there may be whatever. What games, what things can you do? What activities will be a broad kind of sense until you get a rhythm of like how many people are coming, right? And that takes time. It takes reps. So like I said, when it comes to the hope, like you gotta have a steadfast hope when you're doing this stuff that like even if this time like so here's the thing. I've never had an event where no one's been there, right? The lowest amount of people I've ever had, and I hate to say this because like who knows, this could be the time when there's less. But I had an event with 24 people, and it was fun. Like it was still a whole lot of fun, but and like I said, that time I planned for 24, I really was like, oh, there's gonna be a lot of people here because this joint is free. Like people gonna come, and the crazy thing is, less people come to the free events than come to the paid events, and I think it's because if something comes up on the day of the free event and you choose to do that other thing instead, then you can just go do that because you're not going to lose anything from the free event, right? You didn't pay anything to get there, so like you just do whatever you want to do, right? Um, so that's just a thing, right? And then mentally as well, like just like I feel like um, every time I get to, you can, Lady T, you can stay on Facebook. IG got some people too, but yeah, every time I get like in the week of an event, like I always am like, all right, I'm gonna cancel it. So like this morning, I woke up and I was like, I'm gonna cancel it, and then another event bar order came in, and I was like, well, I don't know. And so I think I feel that way every single day of the week of. And I think it's because my life is weird, right? So on my professional, not that this isn't professional, but like on my the other side of my business where I do this for other people, I'd be producing events for like thousands of people. So like I was a part of the Acts 2 with Jackie Hill Perry and Megan Ashley. Literally, they put up the tickets, they sold out in like a week or two, something like that. So like you go from working with the Perrys and Ezekiel and these huge events, right? We at least the minimum people in the room is 1,000, and so my brain is like, all right, I got to get 1,000 people in the building. What time is my check-in gonna be? What time am I opening doors? What time? Like, how am I doing seating? To all those logistics, right? To like my stuff, which is still as important because it's an idea, it's a vision, it's a gift. Um, but like when you think about it, you're like, dang, like I don't really need to put that much effort logistically into my event because I don't have to worry about what time doors open. People be coming late anyway, and even if like I think the average ish attendance to my stuff is like 40 to 50 ish people right in the room. So it's like you can get 40 to 50 people in a room easily. Like that's not a that's not a logistical nightmare in my mind because I'm used to the big stuff. But like the mental hurdle that I want to challenge creatives to do is like your stuff, no matter how big or small, is worth it. Like if it's your idea, if you feel like God gave it to you, if you feel like it's gonna positively impact people, if it's gonna do something for the community, if it's just gonna be a fun night out for people in a world of chaos, like it's worth pursuing. So like don't quit. I feel like I tell people that all the time, but like, and I also tell people that I always be wanting to quit, but like, I need to remind you, I be wanting to quit. Like, I probably will wake up tomorrow and decide I think I should quit. Yeah, I don't think I should do it. I'll cancel Jasmine and Jazir's flight. Like, I don't spend some money already. It's fine. Like, we'll just all go to Outback or something instead. Like, they can keep on coming. Like, it's just a it's just a crazy thing. Oh, which is hilarious. Because Tandela is singing this time, and she said, "Don't cancel." She's been practicing, and she holding out her alto part. I'm gonna tell you that, like she's doing it, and she might have another surprise. She might pop out with, I don't know. We didn't really resolve that from today. It might be a no, and if it's a no, that's okay. Um, but yeah, like whatever you have, like stick to it. And so I just want like the message of tonight, if you will, to have hope as a creative. Like whatever God's giving you, hold on to it. And it's hard. Like let me be 100%, 1,000% honest. It is hard. It is hard to do. I actually feel a little emotional. I might cry in front of y'all. That might be something. It is hard to keep pushing forward to give your all to something that you know is worthwhile and you know will impact people and you know is worth people coming, but they don't want to respond. Like it's hard because it's like because people will look at you. And the thing about like, and again, if y'all are event producers, y'all already know this. If you don't, I'm just giving you free game. But like people struggle to buy into brands that they don't know, right? I this is they didn't pay me to say this. I work for the Perrys. I love the Perrys. They're cool people. But they could put up a raggedy event and a raggedy flyer and it will sell out because they have the brand recognition, right? They're not going to do that because Jackie Hill Perry does not play. She is an amazing creative, but she's also an amazing logistics person. She don't play those games, right? So you don't have to worry about a crappy event, but that's also part of their brand recognition. But they don't have to do a lot of promoting. They don't have to do a lot of marketing. They don't have to do a lot of convincing. But for us who are starting, we have to do a lot of convincing. We have to do a lot of marketing. We have to do a lot of promotion. And that's tiring. It's very tiring. Like being somebody who knows how to do like content, right? Like I do social media for other people. It's hard when you're like, man, I put up a post for them on their page and it goes crazy. The exact same concept. It goes crazy. I'm helping somebody do a podcast now for their family of six, the Billups Anchorage. If you want to follow them, they're an amazing family. They're two people. They are in their like mid to late 30s. They got six kids. They had twins, and then they had a single child, and they have triplet girls. Crazy. Three boys, three girls. But I'm producing their stuff, and so like their stuff is getting thousands and thousands of likes and shares and comments. I don't put their YouTube page together, and so it's getting a whole lot of discoverability. Like so, it's like dang, like I'm happy for them. This is why they pay me to do it. This is why like I am that guy. That's why I am the event producer. I'm a marketing manager. That's why I know what I'm doing. But it's like it's not transferring for me, and I think that's what people struggle with. It's like you get to the point where you're like, yo, I was like, can I do this for me? Like, Is God with me for me? Like that's always a question I ask. Like, God, did you just empower me to like make other people successful? Like, did you just empower me to make other people like pop in and do whatever they do? Like, but you keep giving me these ideas, and when I try to give them away to other people, like either they will turn back and be like, nah, that's you, or like I feel it like, man, I should do this one myself. um and then there's also this tendency to hold your best ideas until you get a big audience. And I want to discredit everybody there with that, because that's a really sucky thing to do. And Corey, I get you. You want to cancel? Bro, I get it. Totally felt. But there's this like mindset to like hold on to your best ideas to like when you make it for real, for real. But here's the thing: if you if you wait to use all your best ideas when you make it, then it's going to take you longer to make it, because the people who are there and rocking with you from the beginning in your initial support, they deserve the same amount of respect and care when there's 10 people in a room versus 1,000 versus 10,000. And I know that's like, it's easy to say that, but like in your mind, you're like, I shouldn't put all this time, all this effort, all this money, all this whatever, and there's only gonna be 5 people there. And if 3 of them are like my family or my friends, like again, we can go to Outback. Like I will buy your dinner. We will chop it up. I'll take out my phone. I'll play the music we were playing it. Like there's all this like easy. What's the word? Like it's easy to think like I'll just wait until later. But like no. The other problem with that is like if you think that you should save your best ideas until later, that means that you're not trusting God to give you even better ideas as time goes on. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, sometimes an intimate experience is needed. And I think it's hard as like an event producer to grasp that, because society and like finances tells you that like more people equals more money, and more money equals I'm covering my overhead, because that's a true thing, right? Like I'm somebody who tries to pay or honor every person who works in my event, because I know personally what it's like to be forced and forced to volunteer when they said they were going to pay you, or they don't send you the check that they said they were going to send you, or they rob you. Like I know how that goes, so I don't ever want to be that person, right? I always want my name to be well spoken of, so that as time goes on, people are never like hesitant to work with me, but they're like, oh, he takes care of you. But that taking care of you like comes from somewhere. And I always make this joke, like the JR Group, my company, is in serious debt to Justin Reeves, who's the angel investor for the JR Group. So like that's the challenging thing. Like it's just a fact, right? um but if you sit up here, like continue to honor people, do what you can, but like if you sit up here and essentially say that people aren't like that people aren't worth your audience, whatever your audience is that God is blessing you with, that they're not worth it, like that's not right. Like everybody's an image bearer, everybody's going through something, right? So the thing about this show that's coming up, like it's all about um oh, Pastor Vern. What's up, Pastor Vern? If it is watching your podcast, I watched the last one with you and Pastor Eric Mason, and I haven't seen you since the conference. But anyway, um, lost my train of thought. Um, I don't know. So yeah, so back to it. So hope. So hope, and the reason that hope is important because hope is so crucial to faith. Faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. So like the thing about hope is like if you don't have hope, which is like the expectation for something, you can't have faith. And later on in Hebrews 11, which is where that comes from, it says without faith it's impossible to please God. So I don't know about you, but I want to please God. I want to make him happy. I don't want to be told to depart that he didn't know me. Like I don't want any of that. I don't want that smoke. Literally, don't want those hell flames. But so you gotta have hope, and you gotta be steadfast in what you do, right? Like oh, there's my mom, and we're gonna help her with her cable too with this event. And I'm gonna do a live one time with my parents. I have this idea. I was like, I'm gonna do an event with just me and my parents on the stage just talking, because honestly we are a funny family, we really are. It's funny, but it's also challenging, raising two parents as an only child. It's just hard, y'all. So pray for me as I pray for you in this. But to be serious again, like without the hope, you can't have faith, and without the faith, you can't please God. And we all want to please God. We all want to get the all want to like we all want to get it, and it also says that he's a rewarder of those who diligently seek him, and that comes from faith as well. The faith to continue, and the hope that gives you the faith to continue to diligently seek him to get the reward. And like you you that's hilarious. You want to be at that point, right? Like you want to get it. So like there's this quote. I was gonna do this on inauguration day because um I was reading some Martin Luther King Jr. quotes, and I found this one that inspired this, honestly. Um, and I, of course, clicked on the wrong one. It says, "We must accept finite disappointments, but never lose infinite hope." And then that same day, I watched this sermon by Jackie, and it's called "In the Defense of Hope" on YouTube. If you haven't seen it, I would watch it because it showed me how much I really don't have hope. Like it showed me how I won't say I'm a hopeless person, but I'm not really like the most hopeful person. Um, but reading that quote, I was like, okay, there will be disappointments, right? So there will be times when I'm planning for like mentally, my goal is for 50 people to be there every time. Right now, I'm not sure if we're going to make that goal. So I might be disappointed on Saturday night. But I have to have infinite hope that one day I'm not going to be concerned about getting that 50. Because I'll be like, I'm going to put up an event. I know 50 people are going to come. It's no big deal, right? And this is like slight marketing, slight begging, not begging, but it's like just come on out, have a good time. Because we're also gonna have games and prizes and all sorts of stuff too. But anyway, it's also a good time to meet people. I've met some really cool people that have like come to the events and come more often now, and so like we DM from time to time. So it's cool to actually build community in real life. Like the online is cool. Like talking to people was great, but even as an introvert that I am, it's really cool to like see some persons like see them in real life and continue to talk to them and learn more about them and stuff like that. And eventually, like they can be a part of stuff, like use their gifts and time. It's a cool thing. So, like I said, make your way here on Saturday. But um, I wanted to share like what I realized is I don't have a whole lot of hope. So I was like, okay, Lord, like what am I actually hoping for? So I actually had to dig deep, like look at myself and be like, what are some things that I'm hoping for? So I'm deciding to like share a couple of the things that I wrote down, which are like big hopes of the future, which like if you know me, the hopes are gonna make sense. But if you see like what my company actually is currently doing, you're gonna be like, that's not happening. And I'll be honest, everything on this list that are like true hopes are not easily attainable right now. What makes something a true hope versus like a fake hope? A fake hope is like I hope someone's gonna come to the event. If nothing else, I know my parents are coming, right? I know Tandala's coming. I know Kiana and Micah are coming. Like I know 50 is coming. I know my friends are coming. I know Jasmine and Jazira are coming because I bought the flights and they're staying at my house. And we already planned like we're gonna hang out, we're gonna have a good time. So like I know Clay, Ethan, that like I know those people are coming. So like when I say things like I want there to be 10 people at the event, I just name basically 10 people, right? So that's a fake hope, right? I want someone to come. I want someone to buy a ticket. That's happened before. The first time someone bought a ticket to something, you would have thought they spent $10 million on me. I was so hyped. But now it's like if I just say like, "Oh, I hope a couple people buy tickets." That's not a real hope, you know? Like time has proven that people do buy into your vision, right? So I will tell the hopes. So one of the hopes is I will do a Create as Well tour one day. I've been a tour manager for Poets in Autumn. I've been a tour manager for We Need to Talk. I helped out for the with the Perrys podcast tour this past year. I did Acts 242, helped out at Jesus and R&B, if Corey's still there. So like I've done events in other cities. I've never done an event for myself in other cities. One of the interesting things about the Bible and just life in general, it seems like you end up with more supporters in places that's not your hometown because you are common to people who are here. And it's not a bad thing, right? It's just life. Like people that I've grown up with and they know me here, like I'm not impressive because I'm not impressive. Because they know me. So like they can hear this conversation. Like my friends, they probably I talk like this all the time. So like they're probably not pressed to come to hear me talk because like I don't know. I'm such a church kid. Like scripture will just spew out of me because my mom was my Sunday school teacher as well as my mother and my dad. I remember one night, my mom worked nights, and my dad, he was he a deacon at the time? I don't know. He might not have been ordained yet, but he was always at church. He was always working hard, and um, I kept waking up in the middle of the night. I was like, "Dad, you're calling me." He was like, "I'm not calling you," and I was like, "Dad, you definitely called me." And he took me to First Samuel 3, I think it is, where Eli told Samuel, like, the next time you hear the voice, just say, "Speak, Lord, my servant is listening." And I feel like that's when I first heard the voice of God. Um, so like my parents have instilled this stuff in me, so like me doing this kind of stuff, it's kind of regular people around me, which is fine, right? Like I'm not mad about that because we chilling, we be cooling. But like I learned this from Jasmine last year. She did her solo tour. I was her tour manager there, and in every city we went to, we sold out immediately because people wanted to see her. Her hometown city, it struggled, and it was like, what? But she kind of brought it to perspective. She was like, I've done open mic here, my open mics here all the time. My church can hear me perform. Like I do poetry, I do prayer, I do whatever on Sundays. Like I help people out all the time. So like I'm not saying that's what's happening for me right now because she has more tenure of doing things on her own. Like I've been doing events as long as she's been doing them. I haven't been doing my own stuff as long. So yeah, so one day I would love to tour because I have people who have literally hit me up and been like, "Can you bring this somewhere else?" And I'm like, "Yeah, no." Like, who's paying for the flight? Who's paying for the hotel? Like where we're going? So, um, one day I would like to do a tour. This year I would love to do a show in another city. I would definitely partner with somebody because it just wouldn't make sense. Because like, again, um, be realistic, like have infinite hope, but also be a little realistic. Um, so, and I probably will be Atlanta because I actually know a decent number of people in Atlanta that we could have maybe 10 to 30 people in Atlanta, like that would be cool. And again, I'm not looking for huge numbers. It's just like it's a hope. I want to go somewhere else and do it. My church is great, love doing it there, but I would like to go somewhere else. I want to give away scholarships. So I already have given away money at the Create as well, which is another reason you should come. If you have an idea or a project or a something, you should come to the Create as well because on Saturday you have the opportunity to pitch your idea, your business, your solution, your creativity, whatever it is, for the chance to get $500. My mom is also one of the judges because guess what? Y'all not gonna come at me to say I didn't pick you. You're not gonna do that. You can fight my mom, but you cannot fight my mom because she's my mom, and I will fight you for that. Um, so yeah, and no one's gonna fight her because you don't fight Miss Bessie. You don't mess with her. But you have the chance to win $500. So like the thing about it is like $500 can do a whole lot for a creative. It could buy a camera, it can buy a down payment on a laptop for your recurring Apple payments because you can put stuff on payments for Apple, which is really a flex because Apple stuff be expensive, but you can pay on it monthly. But yeah, like $500 could really make or break the difference for somebody. It gives them some startup. But I also know in today's economy, $500 is really like $10 in a cookie. So I would love to get to the point where like the lowest cash prize that we give is $1,000. But I'm not there yet. But that's one of the hopes, and I want to be able to give away like literally $100,000, and we can guide you through a process. Like let's build your event together, like an actual cohort, if you will. Another hope that I have is to buy, to do like a festival. Like I love festivals. I haven't been in a while, but I think it would be cool to do a podcast festival. So like your favorite podcasts and at the same time we stagger them. Podcasts, some poetry, some good music, some good food, activities, but have like people seem to really love podcasts and they crave that experience. And like again, doing them on YouTube, doing them whatever, like $10 in a cookie still brings nourishment. Thank you. Yeah, you right. You right. Um, um, but yeah, so like doing a podcast festival would be cool. So like the Creators World presents the podcast festival, whatever, would be the thing. And I would love to do that because part of the platform and my goal is to put other people on and to help other people out. So you got other podcasts around that like are really really cool and really really dope, but they need someone to so into sponsor them, so just to have someone to bring an audience to them, right? Or fly them out. You know, like how cool would it be to get? And I'm not saying this will happen because even though I work with them, I'm not making any promises, because they are their own people. But like, what if we brought With the Perrys to Woodbridge, right? Like With the Perrys had went to DC. With the Perrys went to they went to 7-5, I think. I think they were in Norfolk. Maybe. I don't think they. I don't know. But anyway, with the periods comes to like the big cities. But like, what about Richmond? What about Woodbridge? What about Stafford? What about Fredericksburg? Like bringing With the Perrys to a festival would be dope. What about Ezekiel's podcast? We need to heal, or we need to talk. Sorry. What about Jesus or Beyond Sunday podcast in Richmond, or the More Purpose Pod, or Tim Ross the Basement, or there's so many things. The Sanctuary podcast by Eric Mason, like so many different things. And I'm sure there are not knocking any of those, but like some just more lighthearted, right? Like there are just things that can do. I could revive the Holy Hoodlum podcast, which I started and stopped, but it's okay. That will come back eventually. I just need to get this one up and running first. I'm gonna focus on this. And I got more hopes. I also want Kev on Stage to be at an event because that man. Let me tell you about Kev on Stage. People can laugh at him all they want, but that man has over 2 million followers that he grew organically. That man has an engaged audience. I'm someone who does social media marketing. I look at someone's pages, I look at the likes, I look at the shares, I look at the comments. That means he's putting out engaging, active, and amazing Patreon community. He's independently touring on his own, and I know how expensive that is from doing tours. And he's doing it all on himself. He's financing it himself. He's paying creatives to. He's giving them their break. He's paying people salaries, and that's a dream of mine to be able to be like, hey, you can quit your job and just work for the JR Group because I got the Creators World doing. We got a Holy Hoodlum we're putting on. I got a merch like little tour we're doing. Like you can sell merch on the tour. Like there's so much that I have that I feel like people could work on and make bigger. But right now, I got $2. I got $2 and half a cookie to give right now. But I would love to bring Kev on stage because I think he's somebody who gets it. Like he started from the bottom, truly. Now he's here, and I think he's a really cool person to would be a really cool person to talk to. So if anybody knows Kev on Stage, if anybody wants to connect the brother, like that would be great. He really is like an uh uh what's the word? I was gonna say idol, but I feel like Christian people hate that word. He's somebody that I look up to. He's somebody that I admire. There we go. He's someone that I admire. Um, so I think it would be really really cool to have him here because he's funny, right? I think, and again with events, I want events to be always different. So with me, all you really get is talking and singing. I love music, but I can music you to death. Like we can, and there's only so many instrumentals. There's only so many songs. So like, I want something to be different. So let's come to a create as well. Let's get refreshed through comedy, right? Like one day I'm gonna be able to book Will Johnson. We're gonna do a choir rehearsal with friends, and we're gonna do like him speaking. He's another person I really admire. That man has grown. I could keep going. So this is where I'm gonna stop now. But he has grown his brand to leaps and bounds. He's really dope. So like I said, they're a really mentor. Yeah, 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 mentor. He could be mentor. That's the word. But it was here last time. pick a number through 100, drop it in the comments, and put your Cash App. I'm gonna give the winner who gets closest to the number $25. Like I said, I always want to be a blessing. So obviously, I get to have more than $2 and have a cookie. I guess I have at least 25, which is awesome. And then, if you are Saturday to the Creators Well podcast, if you know somebody in the Stafford, Fredericksburg, Woodbridge, DC, Maryland, Richmond area, because you can drive, or even if you're like in LA and you want to fly out here, like, go ahead. I'm not gonna stop you. I can send you some hotel recommendations if you like. You can't stay at my house though; it's full. But come on out. Even if you are, what's the other thing I was gonna say? Oh, and if you're not local but you still want to support and you want to watch, you want to do whatever, just follow me on YouTube every Tuesday at this point at 9:30. I might take a little break after the event because I've been going and going and going. But I might keep going for a little bit. So yeah, but that's really about it. Come see me. Come hang out with your boy. That's me. I'm your boy if you didn't know. Come hang out with me on Saturday. Come hang out with some of the people in the comments too. Come hang out with the people. We're gonna have a good time. It's also the first day of Black History Month, so we're gonna do some Black History Month stuff as like to warm up, a little pre-show type of stuff. So brush up on your Black history, brush up on your Black culture facts and stuff like that. And so I think that's really about it. That's all it. I'm looking at the answers here. Wow. Well, Mom, you are the winner. You are it. The number was 37, and she picked 59. So, congratulations. You are the winner of $25. So I will send that to you. I will just put that in your account because I don't need to Cash App either for that. So I will just transfer that over. And that's not rigged. I promise you. We'll do more giveaways from time to time, but I promise you it wasn't rigged. The number was 37. I even wrote it down too. So, yeah, you're the winner, Mom. And that'll go towards your new streaming services. Yay! So, like I said, see you all later. Hope to see you on Saturday. And if not, you'll have to hear about it. And I might be petty again and not release any content because you just should have been there. So, yeah. Till then.